I'm going to start my composition by going to the Composition drop-down menu and choosing New Composition. From here, I'll name it Mondriaan Grid. I think 30 seconds is probably too long, so I'll change this 30 to a 10. Now my composition will last 10 seconds. Next, I'm going to open up a browser window and do a search for one of Mondriaan's grid paintings. I will choose this one. Now I'm going to right-click and save this image, and for now I'll save it into my downloads. There it is. So I know it's there. So here I'm going to import that painting. It's in my downloads. There it is. Now you can see it over here in my assets. I will take this painting and drag it down to my layers palette. Now I can see the painting. Let me zoom out so you can see my whole stage. There it is. And I'll fill the stage with the painting. To make this larger, I'm going to click on a corner, and as I begin my transition, I'll press Shift and then make it as big as I can, fitting on the stage. Okay, I feel happy with this layer. Now I'm going to lock it. In the next steps, I will work by recreating these squares one at a time. I can choose my rectangle frame tool, make sure that the stroke is on 0, and since I have yellow right here, I'll begin with the yellow squares. I'm going to zoom in so that I can get this square exactly as it is. Let's see, maybe 400 is better. I'll get my hand tool to center the square. Can't quite see the whole thing, but I want to, so I'll make my layers palette a little smaller. Now I can see the whole square, and once I draw this, now I'll bring my layers palette up again, and I'm going to name this shape layer. I think this was in the middle, so I'll call it middle yellow. And I want the anchor point to be in the middle of the square, so I'll deselect it, get my anchor point tool, select it again, and put the anchor in the middle of the square. Now I'm going to draw this bottom yellow square, so now, which is lock that middle yellow one. And now I'll start again to draw that second one. This is a really critical step. I'll zoom in. Get my rectangle frame tool. And see the anchor point up there. So I'll get my move tool and deselect it. Get my anchor tool and select it. Now I can put this anchor in the middle. So that's 2 of the many squares I need to draw. I'm going to draw the other ones and then come back to you to show you what the next step is. Now I've got my squares all drawn. I can unlock my grid painting layer and hide and show it just to be sure I've got them all. I could select each one of these. Oh, that's the grid painting. I'll have to unlock each of these other layers. And I can select each one of these just to look at them and see how I've done. Oh, look, the anchor point's not in that one. Let's fix that. There we go. Is the anchor point in all the others? Yes. All right, now I'm going to move each of these to a spot where I feel like it can comfortably float in. That should be all of them. I'm just checking. Yep. And I'll bring them close so they don't have too far to travel, because you don't see them until they're actually on the screen. And now I can go about setting their position, their beginning position as off the screen, and their ending position as on the screen. So I'll start with the top red. I'm going to open it. I'm going to open transform, and I'm going to lock its position. Then I will advance my playhead by 1 second. And I've got to zoom in order to bring it into place. Let me zoom in a little more. I want to give myself a little more real estate here, so I'm going to collapse my layers there. So when I drag this down into place, because I've locked the position, it will have that little chain that links it. So there it is. It will take 1 second to get to its location. And now I can close this and lock it. Now let's do the big white one next. Actually, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to lock the ones that I'm not dealing with, because I think that's the safest. And I'm going to collapse these layers. That one. So in my layers palette, I'll open it, open transform, lock its position. And I could start it right here, which I'm doing. It'll come in right after that one. I'll show you how to do it a little differently next time. We'll go to 2 seconds with this. And this is just going to scoot right in on top of its square. So that is completed. I'm going to close transform. And lock that layer. Now I'm going to open up the little right white. That's this one. So I'm going to push my playhead back a little. Open up the little right white. Open up transform. So now what's going to happen is that this one, let me see, why don't I put it right about here. Now I'll select it. I will lock its position, and I'll advance the playhead some. And drag it into its spot. So now I've placed 3. I'm going to close this and lock the little right white. Now I'm on the little left white. That's this one. So I'm going to unlock it, and I'll do this for each of them. But for now, let me scrub the playhead so you can see what's happening. And it might be even helpful when I do my scrubbing if I turn off my painting layer so you can see what's happening. There's one, there's one. All right, so now I'm going to give each one of these some animation for coming in. And I'll come back and show you when I've finished. I've finished animating each square, so I'll scrub my playhead across. And because I have the background painting in, it's a little hard to see. So I'm going to turn that layer off and let's scrub it again. The only thing I haven't done is animate that middle yellow square. I decided to leave that one so that I could make that one have a different kind of animation. I am going to, let's see, that's the middle yellow. Let's make sure. Yes, that's the middle yellow. So I'm going to have my middle yellow. I'm going to open it up, unlock it, and open it up so you can see it. This time I'm going to do a scale change. So I want to put my playhead at the end of the movie, and I'll set that scale at 100. And then I'll put my playhead at the beginning of the movie. And on scale, I'm going to make it larger. So I'm going to have it fill the frame. And now that built the two shapes. So I'm going to now collapse it and lock it. So it begins big, and as the movie plays, that yellow goes smaller. And it looks like I have, how much time left? Let me go all the way down. It's a 10-second movie. I have 3 seconds left. Now I can have space to say the end. I'll do that, and then I'll come back. All right, I've completed my the addition of text, and I added 2 pieces of text. I gave it a title and I gave it an ending. These are called bookends. You start one way and end in something similar. And there it is. Now I'm going to show you how to save and export this. First I'll save it, and I want you to note that when I save it, I'll call it grid animation. It's saving right now to my downloads folder, which is fine as long as I know where it's being saved. So I'm going to click save. And now from the file drop-down menu, I'll choose export and add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. This is the first one, not the second one, the first one. It's going to cause another piece of software to launch, and that will take a minute. If I look in my dock, I can see it launching. There it is, bouncing. That's the Adobe Media Encoder. Now that it's launched, in a minute, I'll see my movie show up over here. But while I'm waiting, I'll scroll down on this bottom left panel to social media, open that, scroll down till I see YouTube full. Select that. Now my movie has shown up here. When I click this green button, I'm going to wait before I do it, you'll see down here my movie will be encoding. And it will show me over here a path of where it's saving it. See, it's telling me now it's putting it in my downloads folder in another folder called Grid Animation AME. That's where I'm going to find my MP4. So now I can quit the media encoder. I can quit After Effects. And I can look in my downloads folder. And there is my grid animation. If I open it, I'll see there's my MP4. So I can easily go to YouTube and And you'll notice on your account, you'll see a little movie here that says create, a picture of a movie camera. Click that and choose upload video. And then drag your file into this area. Here it is uploading. There's a few boxes you need to check here. I'll add mine to a playlist that I have for this class, but you might not have a playlist. That's fine. You want to say, yes, it's made for kids. And then you also want to add public. And once you publish it, it's going to give you a video link. Copy it and paste that into Brightspace along with your description. That's it for now.